to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. My name is Amanda, and today what we're going to be talking about is something called cucumber wilt. I've had a few people kind of ask me informally to talk about different diseases of different plants, and one of the ones that I struggle with, it seems like almost every year, is cucumber wilt. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what it looks like, what you can do to prevent it, and how to kind of still get a nice harvest of cucumbers even if you have cucumber wilt in your garden. So here is my cucumber and squash trellis. You can see my squash are doing super awesome, and my zucchini at the back are doing really well. And then I have got my cucumbers here. And this is what cucumber wilt looks like, okay? You can see these wilted leaves. You know, we just had a whole bunch of rain yesterday. If your garden is dry and it's really hot and your cucumbers are wilting, you can always try watering them and see if they come back. But if they always wilt and you know that your garden is well watered, then pretty much guaranteed that is cucumber wilt disease. And so what'll happen is the leaves will wilt like that, and then over time what happens is they start drying out. And this one's a bit crispy, right? And then they'll become brown like that one, okay? Unfortunately, once you have cucumber wilt, there's nothing you can do except for pull out this plant. So this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to kind of talk about what other options I have for this plant, which doesn't have any symptoms of cucumber wilt at this point. Okay, so cucumber wilt is spread by either the striped cucumber beetle or the spotted cucumber beetle. And then what happens is they chew on the leaves. They chew on the leaves, which creates a hole in there, and then they have that bacteria in their gut, which then spreads to the plant, infects the plant's vascular system, which then doesn't, which causes inflammation in there and doesn't allow water to travel up the plant. And unfortunately, once that bacteria is inside the plant, there's nothing you can do about it. So you kind of have to prevent it from happening in the first place. So I've been out here kind of picking off cucumber beetles right from the very beginning. Unfortunately, that hasn't been enough to stop this vine from getting infected. So your plants are most vulnerable when they're little. So I've got my second planting of cucumber here, because as you know, your cucumber plants will kind of die back after a while and stop producing. So I've got them covered, okay? So they're covered by some just kind of insect preventing cloth. Obviously, once they start having blooms, I'm gonna need to take this off unless you want to hand pollinate. I don't really have time for that, so I'm gonna take it off at that point, because it's this time when they're most vulnerable, right? When those seedlings are young and their tissues are really delicate. So I'm gonna cover them back up, okay? Okay, so that's my number one strategy, is to cover them up when they're young. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray. Okay, I don't love spraying things with insecticides, just because, well, it's not a very natural way to do things, and I prefer to try it the other way. But as you can see, I've been out here every night picking off those beetles. They're really good at flying away, and so I don't catch them all. And obviously it's not enough. So I'm going to use an organic spray which contains something called pyrethrin, which is derived from chrysanthemums. But really important, I'm going to spray this at night, okay? The reason why I'm going to do that is because, as you can clearly see, these plants have got blooms on them, which means that there's going to be honeybees coming here, and the pyrethrin spray will kill the honeybees, and that is something I definitely do not want to do. So I'm going to spray this at nighttime to try and prevent that from hurting the bees. The other things you could do, I've heard people kind of spraying with neem oil. I've heard people spraying with that kaolin clay surround spray, which I have used on my fruit trees and my grapevines. Actually worked really well. So I may try that next year. I may actually even try it with these plants when they get a little bit bigger, and try that, because again, that kale and clay spray will kind of make it seem to the cucumber beetle like this isn't a plant that they can eat. So we're gonna try that. And then you can also try and find varieties that are more resistant to bacterial wilt, which is actually the little dill pickles here are more resistant than the regular kind of English cucumbers. So that's why I planted them, but even still. So thank you for joining me on another episode of I Demand a Homestead. If you guys have had your own experience with cucumber beetle and bacterial wilt on squash and cucumbers and melons, and you've got other ways of kind of preventing the cucumber beetle, please let me know. This is an ongoing fight I have, not so much with my squash, but definitely with my cucumbers every year. So I welcome any further discussion and advice. If you like this video, please feel free to press the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you don't miss any more of my videos. Alrighty, everybody, hopefully you have a great day and you're not fighting pests like me, but if you're a gardener, that's kind of part of the way it is. All right, have a great day. Goodbye.